Well, hello again, chess fans. I think it is time for us. We're going to start a little bit earlier. Just, of course, we might have to wait a little bit to find a game. I don't really know how many people play play 15-minute, 10-second increment games. So let me just, what just happened? I hope that worked. Let me just check something. I just want to see. Okay, that's fine. Cool. So let's click on play here and see how long it takes us to get a game. So of course in this segment I am trying to use the things that we have been learning in our Road to GM sessions to play a good game of chess. Yesterday, or was it the day before, that I had the nice Sveshnikov game with black, which was a nice win in the end, with some beautiful controlled play on the second rank and staying focused, staying focused on, again, understanding that our opponent has no counterplay, he has no proper plan. Looks like we may have found a game. There we go. Our opponent's from Jamaica. That's always fun. Okay, so we have a d4 right off the bat. Shall we play a standard knight f6 king's Indian? Let's see what happens. All depends on what white plays. Okay, so we're going to get a king's Indian most likely. Just depends on what line. So we have a g3 line. We have a g3 line. I'm just going to castle as quick as possible. Should I play something funky? Okay, never mind. I don't have to. Okay, so we have this quick h4 ideas. Recently I've been seeing a lot of players playing this kind of chess where they don't finish development, they just immediately start attacking on the king side. I'm not a big fan. I don't really think that it works that well. But of course, you have to be careful of the pressure that he will build. So shall we just start in the center immediately? Something like c5, plays d5, we can just play d6. Might give us a little bit of extra time here. Just, okay. So again, okay, now we've been, just hitting the center here, and it's not something we see every day. So you don't just want to rush in and make moves like you usually would. The situation has changed, so we have to think about what we're doing, okay, and how we are going to handle. Now we know that, okay, well, if you don't know, then I'm going to say this now. We're supposed to know that if your opponent starts a premature attack on the side of the board, then we're supposed to play in the center. So even a move like d5 looks very tempting here, which, is counterintuitive for me because I don't play lines in the Grunfeld type of setups. But here with this h4 pawn, well, maybe you can play h4 in the Grunfeld, I guess. So I don't particularly like d5. But we do also have an option of maybe playing c5 and e6 immediately. Because if he plays d6, his pawn is very far advanced and might become an easy target for us. So again, I don't mind spending time here. We don't want to just rush into anything here. c6, d5 lends itself as well. The question is just after h5, what do I do? Am I going to take it? Most likely. Most likely. Okay, so c5, my initial thought is to just continue on with the setup. So if he plays d5, the question becomes, do we want to play e6? It's an interesting variation. But in general, I do like playing d6 because we also have, we try and keep control over that g4 square if we can. Okay, so e3 setup, I don't believe in this for him. Okay, now we can ignore him because, of course, his bishop now is stuck here on c1, so it can't be part of the attack. So d6 still looks logical. With pins all over the place. And of course, we also have ideas of if he plays h5, we can play bishop g4, attacking the queen and attacking the h pawn at the same time. So d6, let's keep it simple, is our general structure that we want to achieve. Let's see what our opponent throws at us now. This is coffee house chess at its best. Wow, okay, so knight h3. I can't believe that this is going to be okay for him. Okay, maybe he just wants to castle and play chess from here. Don't know if there's any chess to be played from here, but hey. Okay, so knight c6 looks perfectly playable. So I'm going to play knight c6. Because of course, if any time he takes d takes c5, I play queen a5 check and take with the queen. If he takes bishop takes c6, then he's going to have problems on this long diagonal, so he can't really give up his bishop. And if he plays d5, okay, he does play d5 now. I could play knight e5. Okay, yeah, so knight e5, I get it with a tempo, because this pawn is hanging on c4. So again, he's helping me develop while having to defend. It's not ideal. He's probably going to have to play queen c2, which looks awkward. Again, I don't like this very much from him. Don't think that his position looks great. Okay, so now we have, always have ideas on this beautiful long diagonal here. Did that work? Yeah, that worked. So we'll take our time. We don't have to rush into anything here. No need to rush, sir. Bishop f5 looks tempting, with obvious bishop d3 and knight d3 as ideas. He can't play e4 because we have too many attackers. And like I say, we have the immediate threat of check. So bishop f5 looks very good now. Just checking if there's anything crazy that can happen. I don't really think so. If his king is going to end up in the center, we're going to play e6 and we're going to crush through on the center. These pieces are looking very awkward, very unorganized. So let's play bishop f5. It makes complete sense. Because again, we do everything with an attack. So we get a threat, we get a tempo. I find it a little confusing that my opponent got this high with this kind of chess. I find myself not fearing this kind of chess even a little bit. Because we just play principled chess. That's all we do. My opponent says, knights belong on wings. That is the new opening rules. Okay. At least he has a sense of humor. Okay, I'm just looking for all kinds of funny things now. Knight f4. It's a good move. It is a good move. It's okay. It's defending all the squares. Is it time for e6? Okay, he does threaten to castle after this. So I have no issue taking time. Once again, I do not mind taking my time here. It makes complete sense to want to take your time here. Ideas like b5 looks very tempting as well if we just get the right timing. It might be good for us even to play bishop h6. Just attacking the knight that's defending all the squares. Does he have any moves in between? His knight has nowhere to go. If he castles, we take, and move our knight. But I don't necessarily want to give up this this diagonal. Sorry about that. But everything else looks a little slow. So E6 is an idea, A6 is an idea, Queen B6 is an idea. We have so many ideas here. Okay, let's look at the pawn structure. Pawn structure says that we don't have any good outposts as of yet, but he has a weak pawn on C4. We have a nice square on D3 that we're trying to hammer on. And I do like this long diagonal. If we can just make this work somehow, this long diagonal of the bishop on G7 is very strong, which is why I don't want to play bishop H6. It feels counter to the position. Let's not panic on time yet. Okay, E6 doesn't work. I don't like it. Queen D7 lends itself here as well. We might want to go in straight with B5. If the pawn takes C4, uh-oh. Time, huh? Okay, I can't take too long here. Cannot take too long here. Okay, let's just play on the queen side. Let's play A6, because the king side is fine. There's no threats, there's no nothing. H5 doesn't work because of G5. And if he wants to castle in there, then you know, obviously I can just continue playing on the queen side. So rook B8 and B5 to follow. I'm definitely stronger on the queen side. F3. So my opponent really does want to try and come attack here. I mean, is that really possible? I don't think so. Okay, if he plays G4, I mean, then just one of the knights, knight F takes on G4. Because suddenly our position is very strong. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to play rook B8. And I'm going to ignore him flat out. Because I'm not scared. I'm just not scared. I'm going to sacrifice. I mean, his king is in the center. It makes sense that I want to activate my pieces. This knight on F6 is doing nothing yet. So let's play knight takes G4 and then followed with bishop takes G4. Because he's going to have to move his queen. I mean, okay, I mean, the sacrifice might be a little bit premature, but positionally it does make sense to attack. Because his king is still in the middle of the board. So again, these pieces are not part of the defense here. Even this one struggles. So we just need to open up the game. Queen C2. Does he have any immediate threats? I don't think so. So let's just continue on playing. Yeah. B5. There's no reason for us not... Yeah, and this is now the typical position that we have been looking at, is when your opponent doesn't have counterplay or a specific plan, then we can just slowly continue on with our plan. So we're threatening B4 now. Which does not look pretty for him. I don't know if... I don't like this move from him as well. Because after G5, then what? Or can we just ignore it? I mean, what does he really do? If he takes, then we play F takes and we have the rook active as well. We also have this idea of pawn takes C4. Just trying to see if I can divert all the pieces. So pawn takes C4, knight takes, and then bishop takes B2 is an idea. You can also play B4. Again, I don't want to panic on time. There's no need to freak out. I mean, H6 is not going to do anything for his position. No need to be hasty, sir. Let's just take our time. What do we want to achieve is the question. I would like to play E6 as well, in quite a few variations. Okay, time is starting to dwindle. Dwindle the swindle. Okay, I still think we should open up the game here. Okay, now we're gonna have to play a little bit faster, I guess. Down 3 minutes, my opponent has only used 1 minute, apparently. But I do feel like we have the better position here. And again, I want to just reiterate. Okay, that doesn't look good. Surely that just looks bad. Rook takes f3 is options. No, rook takes f4 is some big options here with knight d3 checks. I don't think I like his position. I think he's overstepped a little here. This move does not make sense at all. To open up this f file for me makes no sense at all. Okay, bishop. So he wants to sacrifice. This guy really wants to sacrifice. He's still trying to attack me. I need to bring in one more piece. I need to bring in one more piece. Okay, bishop f3. So want to get rid of his bishop. The knight still defends good on g6. Again, I'm focusing on this. The fact that these pieces are stuck in there, I should be okay. I mean, if we trade off a couple of pieces on the queen side, on the king side, then I should be okay. Okay, he is attacking there, I guess. Can I take here first? Let's take on e4 check for, first, yeah. Now I got knight f3. Queen check first. Maybe I can save my queen. Queen check. His king is starting to look a little awkward. King is starting to look a little bit awkward there. Knight check. Knight check here because we have bishop takes b2 ideas as well. Queen takes f3. We can take on d2. Just need to find the shots. Can we just take on f3? If he takes, we take on b2. No. That apparently won't work. Let's not panic. Let's not panic. Okay, queen takes. We're gonna have to do this now. Takes here. Okay. I don't know how far we are down. Okay. We're gonna. Looks like we're gonna have to take back. What do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pawns. So we got 2 pawns against a piece. Fortunately, this knight on c4 is very strong. Okay, this looks logical. Let's just keep control. Yes, rook f5. Targeting the pawns. We're trying to put the pawns on awkward positions, whilst having the control over the f-file. And of course, we do still have these 2 pawns. If we can get these 2 pawns rolling, then we should be in good shape. So knight goes here. Now we got the threat of rook check and take takes and takes on d5, e4, sorry. So we didn't play this obviously as good as we can. Time pressure started pushing us. But, you know, we're not dead. Yeah, so he does play this move. I'm gonna play h5. Let's get these pawns going whilst we still have chances. So it's all about control. So just trying to keep control. Just keep control over the f-file and push the pawns. Use the king, because at least the knight is stuck on this side of the board for now. We have to be careful of letting the knight get into f5 maybe as well. But at least we have pressure. You know, he has a weakness here which he doesn't like. Maybe he wants to come in here. Knight c6 is the plan, I guess. Okay, let's keep going with the pawns. Let's not get sidetracked. Knight c6, we can just play. Okay, I guess now he can try. Okay, so let's go king f. We have c4 with rook d3 ideas as well. Again, the pawns. The pawns are our trump card. Can play e5 now, but I think I can just ignore him for now. Maybe even play d3. c4, I mean. Maybe we'll just continue with g5. Keep going with the pawns. I like c4. Just because I like putting him on a little bit of pressure with the threat of rook d3. Just so I can fix his rooks. of course, if pawn takes d6, I have rook f5 ideas again to just come back. Okay, let's do this. Rook check, rook check, rook check. Do I give up that pawn? Do I give up this pawn? I think so. King f6, rook check, king. Can we play king, king up? Can, but we gotta be careful. Because of knight e7 check. So maybe we drop back with the king. Maybe we're okay here if we drop back with the king. Drop back. See what happens. Because I have the check on f2 as well. And I still have threatened the check on d3 as well. Our king is starting to look a little uncomfortable, I'm not gonna lie. But I don't think he can do anything with just these two. So if we can swap off a pair of rooks, we might be okay. Might just be okay. Now we still have this rook d3 check idea. Winning the pawn on d5. I might even have a perpetual idea as well if he plays rook g2. Might have some ideas of perpetuals. Yeah, rook e2. He's not threatening anything yet, but I do think if we can swap off a pair of rooks, we should be better here. King check. And king takes pawn. Is there a mate for him? I don't like this variation, so let's trade off. Let's trade off. Okay, now I'm gonna have to bullet a little bit and talk less. Sorry, boys and girls. We're gonna have to speed chess now. So we still have the two passed pawns. I mean, the passed pawns should be interesting for us. So now it's speed time, huh? Down to our increment only. Rook e8 seems to just help us. Because then we just get our king closer, quicker. Of course, we can trade off all the pawns and we also draw this. Another thing to take in consideration. So at least now my opponent is taking his time thinking, which also gives us some time to think. Okay, does that. Drop back here. Just threatening the pawn on d5. Which will be with a check. And we might be able to get 3 pawns against a knight here, which we should not lose. Not saying we can win, but we should not lose. Okay, he goes for that pawn, but that doesn't, he can't take the pawn because of the obvious check on c5. The pawn's immune for now. Okay, let's put behind and shove. That's the going game plan now, isn't it? Put behind and push the pawns. Put behind and push the pawns. Put behind and push the pawns. Okay, push. Push. You don't have time to think about too much, unfortunately. He does have this knight to c5 idea, which will then obviously fork the 2 pawns. So I have to be careful of that. I have to be mindful of that. But I do just play b5 and the pawns are protecting each other, so it's okay. So we have given ourselves a little bit more time now. The 2 passed pawns do become quite strong. Play b5, because of knight there, I can maybe play rook c5 check, actually. Okay, let me not play too quickly now. This is a critical position now. Rook c4. If he plays rook c7, we can just play b6. Knight takes, we takes, we win. If check, we move our king. And if he takes our rook, we play b7. It has to come in from behind and we get a queen. So rook c4 looks fine. You can sacrifice now, of course. Maybe I shouldn't have played that. Maybe I should have played... Yeah, I should have played rook h6, actually. So now we can sacrifice his knight for the 2 pawns, which should be a draw. I don't know if he's going to do that. I don't know if he's still thinking about winning. I don't think he can win. But knight takes... Oh, maybe knight takes doesn't work. No, it does work, because I cannot play... Yeah, okay. Let me offer him a draw. I think I stuffed up a little bit. Maybe rook h6 was better in the end there. Let's offer the guy a draw. Let's see what he does. Apparently he doesn't want to draw. I don't see how he's going to win. My rook can just sit here. My king protects the pawn on d6. His king can't go anywhere. Shouldn't be very hard to hold this. We shouldn't have to think much about this. Keep the rook on this rank. Keep the pawn protecting the rook. King comes in. Sits over here. We can even go check just for funsies, because it doesn't really matter. He has to be careful of going too far, because we also have a pass pawn. Okay, let's shovel the king in there. King's just gonna run to b6 or c6, whatever, and this I just don't see how he's going to make progress. We should be okay. We need to be careful of any exchanging rook options as well. Yeah, like he's trying to do now. We can play king rook check, because the king cannot come forward for now. Okay, let's move up our king. We should be fine. I can't see. We just have to be slightly careful of any pawn endgames where we could end up losing, because our pawns are a little bit worse than his. So let's play here. H5, then we just play rook to G5. Then we just swing the rook over, and we can obviously just try and trade off. Now rook f4, rook c5, sorry. Now it looks okay. Because in the end, we might even be able to win it if he's not careful. Rook f5 seems fine, because we actually have the outside pawn, or that pawn. So if he ends up with this pawn, then obviously we draw easily. So okay, let's just play rook c5. I'm still on the wrong side of the board here, thinking from white side. So rook c5. I don't see how he's going to do anything interesting. We can just play, if he takes with the c4 pawn, king here, king takes, and then draw. Still think we might have been able to play this a little bit better, of course, but with time problems, things happen. So I don't agree with the way my opponent played. Now we can maybe go and have a little bit of a look at an analysis afterwards and see where we could have done better. I don't see anybody in the chat. Well, okay, I kind of forgot to refresh the chat for a while, so I apologize if there was anybody throwing out answers. You can obviously come and join us just for the analysis afterwards. Don't know why my opponent's thinking now. Okay, well, he has been struggling with disconnection problems as well. Okay, king takes. Maybe my opponent still wants to lose. That would be fun. Would be fun if he wants to lose. Pawn here. Now just a3 should be a draw. Yep. I play here, check, he goes king, I play there, he plays there, whatever. You know what I mean? We're just gonna lose all the pawns. Just gonna lose all the pawns. So a draw. It's okay. We're not, at least we don't lose. We did get things a little bit messy there, so we're gonna go back. Interesting. My opponent is risking a lot as well. Maybe not. I guess he's fine. I can just play king here. I can just stick obviously on these squares as well, because he can't play b4 now, because that'll end up actually, well, it's still a draw because his king is in front of the pawn. I don't really know what he is trying to do now. Aha, is that what he's trying to do? If I go king, okay, so now the idea is if he wants to go to king e4, but if I go king c5, king e4, and I push my pawn, because then of course if he pushes past, I go past, and I get to queen as well. And of course it's h-pawn, so there's always draws there, so don't have to worry about that. And if he takes, we have the same idea. We can maybe queen. We actually, yeah, we queen. Do we queen first in that variation? I think we queen first. So he's got to be very careful. He can't just go and do whatever he wants to do. King e4 might actually lose the game. King e4 possibly loses if he messes it up. So he's still trying to win. Not quite sure why. Maybe he ends up messing this up and loses. That would be a funny finish for us. Still think we had the much better game. We'll have a look at it just now. Maybe I can open up an analysis board just now. So now he's just wasting our time, sadly. Because I'd like to get to analyze the game. Maybe he disconnected. Maybe I'll win on time. How's that? We're going to win on time. Come on. Come on. Only 4.5 minutes. We can win this on time. Yeah, okay. I really don't know why my opponent is being a bit of a nuisance now. Maybe he's calculating this pawn in game in the end. But I don't understand why. For the life of me, I don't understand why. Like I said, I will probably be the only one with winning chances if he plays King e4. Looks like a terrible idea. Okay, maybe we win on time. I mean, am I just going to sit back and just relax a little? Maybe make a cup of tea? Don't really know what my opponent's up to. I don't see a sign saying that your opponent has disconnected, so he's thinking. King e4 does nothing. Yeah, okay, so now he just decides to just give up his pawns. Quickest draw. If he plays a4, he loses. Gives a b3. Okay, there we go. Game is done. Or maybe he still wants to lose, I don't know. Come on. Take the pawn. So we're going to drop a couple of rating points, 3 rating points, it's fine. Let's close this board, let's say analyze. Can I do it like that? Oh, examine. Examine is the other one, hey. Examine, okay? I can't type. Let me just refresh real quick. Sorry guys. Chess.com has been really annoying, to be honest. I mean, I love it, but, you know, have had quite a bit of problems. I don't know what's going to happen if I change the analysis board now. And let me just see. I hope it's the same size. So keep a lookout. Yeah, I think it's the same size. Let me just double check quickly. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, so we can just start playing. I'm going to flip the board. Can I just do that? No, apparently that is not what I wanted to do. Flip the board. Why is flip the board not an option here? Set up position, blah blah, yada blah. Huh. There's no option for flipping the board. Okay, anyway, we played that, we played there, he played c4, we played g6, he played g3, we played bishop g7, he played bishop g2, we castled, and then he came with this h4 idea. I'm still weirded out by the fact that I cannot flip the board. Wonder. Okay, anyway. So after h4 we played c5, he played e3, we played knight, no, we played, what did we play? We played d6, sorry. He played knight h3, We played knight c6, he played d5, we played knight e5, played knight a3, we played bishop f5, he played knight f4, we played a6, I think, a6, then he played f3, we played rook b8, he played g4, he took with the f knight, takes, and queen c2, and we continued on with b5, and then he played bishop e4. Okay, yeah. So okay, let's have a look at it from his point of view, just from an analysis point of view. Let's have a look at it. Oh wait, sorry, he didn't play that, did he? He played h5. Sorry, played h5. We decided to ignore him. We played pawn takes c4. He took, and we took, and then he played bishop e4. Okay. So this is the critical position, I would say. I feel like there should be something yum-yum, a little yum-yum here for us. But things got messy because I kind of forgot about the fact that our queen is hanging. Oh yeah, that there's a fork on e6. I kind of forgot about that. A little bit of an oops. I was really looking at oh, okay. Hi, Maljarf. I see that you have joined the board. So I'm just doing a little bit of analysis quickly now. Just trying to see, you know, where I could have done better. I mean, rook takes f4 looks very tempting here as well because, again, our focus point is just that these pieces are doing nothing. So I just find it a little bit tricky to decide, after rook takes, pawn takes, where does the knight go? Do we just play knight d3 check, bishop takes, and pawn takes? Now if queen takes, we have this bishop takes g7, b2 idea. So we do have that. Okay, bishop takes b2, looks tempting. Just need to be careful if there's no mate threats anywhere. So bishop takes b2. What are we down right now? We're down, wow, a whole rook, aren't we? We're down a rook. At least he has no threats. But I'm not sure if we can make this work. We are threatening to play queen a5 check. And we obviously threatening the rook on b2. Now we can't play rook b1 because of this, I think. I think we can. Because we're still covering the h3 square, so you can't play queen h3 to attack on h7 and then obviously move his rook eventually. So the rook is hanging in this variation. I don't know if the queen can go anywhere funky that might, you know, be a problem for us, but I don't think so. Somehow our king is somewhat safe. So it seems like he's almost forced to take here. Rook takes. And now we're gonna have to just, you know, queen a5 is the idea. Just trying to hem in his king there. Obviously with bishop e2 check threat as well. So we are down a whole rook right now. But this might not matter because we have, you know, obviously control over the board. We have control over the b file, the second rank. Keep on saying B for second, you know, like it's A for 1 and B for 2. Okay, maybe you can play queen. Maybe queen takes a6. Queen b8. Threatening to go into b4 as well. Okay, this is obviously a critical point. So here again, the problems are that we're just threatening to enter in here. Maybe he can play knight c4 again. And maybe he can sacrifice? So knight c4, we go rook check. Maybe he can sacrifice his queen for our two pieces. Then it is technically equal. He's got two rooks against the queen. That's what he does have then. But his king is still a little awkward. His pieces are not quite coordinating yet. Maybe they should be fine. But d5 is weak, f4 is weak, and a2 is weak. So now if we just look at pawn structure, these pawns are very, very weak. So if he plays something like this, this, and this, surely we just go pawn hunting. Queen f8 looks good because we can go queen f5, hunting this pawn as well with queens, that, and that. Idea, attacking all everywhere. All everywhere. We're attacking all everywhere. Maybe rook here, let's say queen here, maybe here. It's a good move. Of course, like I say, now we might want to just target this pawn. So queen e4. We also have ideas of c4 now as well. Trying to use our pawns. This could be good for white. Well, I think that black probably also has a bailout as well of a draw here. I can't see how white's going to survive everything. Because now this rook is a little bit weirdly placed. F5 is not possible, we just take it. Maybe you can play rook check then. Okay, so let's go back a little. That does seem like the only real option we would have if we did this whole variation. Am I missing something here? This is going to be, shall we call this a little bit of a homework? The knight is hanging, so we kind of have to do something about it. We might just want to play knight f3 check, take with the bishop, and then take on d5. This is definitely possible as well. So something like knight f3, bishop takes, knight takes. I don't know where the rook's going to go. And then bishop takes d5. Then we are down a rook, but we have 4 pawns for it. And he's still, his pieces are still inactive currently. It's tricky. It's not easy to decide what to do here. We have ideas of c3 in between here as well, maybe. Let's just go back to the other variation. Knight d. Okay, with the knight d3, we don't have that option. I see. So this is definitely the critical point. We do have ideas of knight d3 as well, sacrificing a pawn. Any one of the pieces takes, we should be okay. So what if knight d3 check? Which one would you prefer to take with? Bishop or knight? Maybe the knight. Pawn takes, and then what? Bishop takes or queen takes? bishop takes. Okay. What's the material like now? We're down a piece, but there's 4 pawns. We've got two pawns against a piece. 2 pawns against a piece. His king is looking a little awkward, so he's got to be careful. I'll just do whatever he wants to. Maybe we have a shot like e6 now. I was just worried about maybe bishop takes g6, but okay, that doesn't work because of bishop f5. So maybe e6 with queen f6 as an idea. Because again, this king is stuck here. This king is not very well placed. This bishop can't move. So let's say, okay, if he takes, we play queen f6 anyway. So if he does take us, then it looks like we get a good game. But what else does he play? We were threatening obviously just to take him. The sacrifice doesn't work. And we are threatening queen f6. I kind of like this position. Now let's look at the other way around. If he plays bishop takes instead, pawn takes, and knight takes. Or queen takes d3 maybe even. No, queen takes d3, then we have this bishop takes. Let's go back. Queen takes d3 maybe. Bishop takes d3 looks a little bit dodgy. But maybe now we can just play queen bishop f5. No, then he plays e4 maybe. Just doesn't get any easier, does it? Okay, so he's threatening to play something like... Okay, he's not threatening anything actually right now, so... Let's not be too discouraged. Maybe check. Bishop goes here and queen to a4. But then bishop c3. I don't like that he's going to get this bishop c3 move in. Just don't like it, sir. Okay, maybe we can just take it, though. It's nothing yet. Let's check. Queen takes, we assume. Then maybe queen to e4. See, now things are looking interesting. Queen to e4 also protects g6, so there was ideas maybe with knight takes g6 because of queen or rook down to the bottom check, but doesn't seem like any threat yet. Now again, we have to just make sure that we know that these pieces are still here, okay? We're threatening rook takes f3 now. We're threatening the rook on, so let's say rook f1. Can we mate? Is there a possible mate here somewhere? Do we have a possible mate here somewhere? He has to be extremely careful. This is tricky. We might even have g5 as a move here in this position. So after takes, we have this idea of rook takes here, and queen h1 and queen takes a1. So we have these ideas. We're down only a piece here for 2 pawns, and we have a lot of play, so maybe this wouldn't have been so bad. I'm gonna stop here, so we ended up drawing the game. So it's a fun game. I decided to sacrifice on g4. It looked like it made sense. Maybe I could have played a little better in this position here. Maybe if we go back just before all the complications here, after knight f4. Maybe I can play better here. This is maybe the position where I should be looking for better. The bishop on g7 never got into the game, so maybe bishop h6 was a decent idea. Just threatening to take. The only thing I didn't really like about this was, let's say here, then he just castles. Say we take, he takes with this pawn, and now what? We don't have anything. This is the reason I dismissed this. We just don't have anything. We have no threats. Maybe the knight can go sit on d3, but what is it really doing here? It's not doing anything. Of course, we're equal. Nothing to stress about here. So yeah, so that might have been an idea, but I don't really particularly like it. I still prefer the game I had. Okay, that's where we're going to stop, because there is now some Chess TV goodies going on. Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. We got quite a lot going on tomorrow. There is some more Road to GM shows. There is the Simmel at 3 p.m. CET. And then also later in the evening at, what is it? I think 9 or 10 CET, I will be playing some Bullet. Jamming a different kind of music, so we'll see how that goes.